Look, Ghana's quite expensive. You need to have a workable plan. When I'm speaking with the kids, especially when I'm giving them a little piece of my mind or telling them to do something, the Ghanaian accent surfaces.
Hello friends, this is Jums of the Jums TV. Thank you for stopping by and you're welcome. I'm right now at the National Folklore Board. I'm meeting with a beautiful woman I met some time ago. I think she has something interesting to share with us. Something that I feel will encourage some of you who are outside of the country and some of you who are in the country, okay? So I want you to sit back, relax and enjoy this. All right guys, you're welcome back, and with us is
Vanessa mixing Alawiye.
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 No, my ears cannot deceive me. I know that is your Yoruba name.
Yes.
Alawiye.
Alawiye.
Okay, can you explain?
It's Vanessa mixing hyphen Alawiye.
Mixing is your maiden name?
Yes.
Alawiye.
It's my married name.
So you married a Nigerian?
I did. Well, I would say a Ghanaian Yoruba.
Okay. Okay, but you live here in Ghana?
Yes.
How long have you been here for?
Oh, I've been here for 29 years. Almost. I'm just scratching the door to 30.
So are you going to have some party that you invite me to?
Yes, I'm going to have a very, very, very big party, and I'm going to cook all the food.
So are you a caterer?
I think I've become a caterer. This is the funny thing. I've been in Ghana all this time. I have worn several hats, but I must say each hat that I've worn, I've done a very good job.
Okay.
And so
we're here for this.
Yeah. So you know, I invited some friends over for a meal. Some things we don't usually get to eat here. And these are some of my African American friends. And so after cooking for them that evening, you know, and they've been saying it, you know, for a while now. I would buy this. You should be selling your food. And then I thought, well, okay, I'll think about it. So I had them over again, and I said, okay, these are some of the things I would feature for some of the meals that I would cook.
Okay.
If I decide to start cooking to sell food. So I made a cabbage the way we eat cabbage as a soul food dish, and then I made lasagna, and I made some shredded barbecue beef,
delicious.
and salads and garlic bread and cornbread and potato salad, and you know, everybody loved it. I told them the following 2 weeks is when I will start, you know, and so I did.
So before we go on further to discuss your other hats you've worn, did you do the ancestry DNA?
I didn't do the ancestry DNA, but my brother and my niece did. I do have Mali, which is something I've always thought since I was a child. Nigerian and Ghanaian. The Nigerian was more than the Ghanaian.
Wow.
And so they were kind of all almost equaling out. But I have not gone as far to do the ethnic group.
Okay.
So,
are both of your parents African Americans?
yes, yes.
Okay. Where do you come from originally? What state do you come from?
I was born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, which is the Midwest of the U.S.
Okay.
Very cold place. Beautiful summers, especially when you drive into the countryside. My last trip there,
which was when?
2019, and I got caught during the COVID.
Oh, okay.
So I was there just until last year.
Okay.
So that was my longest trip ever in the last 29 years. So I went through all the seasons, some of them twice, and it was an experience. I was there to look after my mom, and so when I left, I took all my clothes with me because I said I have no idea when I'm coming back, and that was the mindset I took there. So I stayed for almost 2 years, and my mom passed during that time, by the way, but may she rest in peace. And I learned so much from my mom within that 18 months that I was away, that kind of comfort me from being away for so many years.
Okay.
You know, because when I came, my daughter was 11 months. My daughter will be 30 this year. And so my children were both raised here. I've raised about 10 Ghanaian children during my time here. So I have a lot of children.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so tell us, what other hats have you worn?
Well, I've done my fair share.
Starting from when you came initially.
Oh, when I came.
Yeah.
Okay. My first job was as an ultrasound technician at a clinic on the Nima Highway. And at that time, there were no female ultrasound technicians except for me. I guess probably at that time, the whole of Ghana. And so I'm very good at sexing, you know, giving the sex of the baby. And so I would get all the Arabs coming in to me to find out what their child was, because they wouldn't want a male doing the ultrasound on their wives. Yeah. So that was my first official job. I think my first real job was learning how to cook the Ghanaian dishes. And yeah, that was a very important job, you know.
Yeah.
So the first thing I learned how to cook, not that I didn't really know, but wanted to know how to cook it authentically, because over in the States I was doing jollof rice, I was doing groundnut soup, like okra stew and different things. But when I came here, you know, when I was cooking before, I didn't have the pakoshito or anything like that. So, in certain spices. And so I would go to these elderly women to teach me how to prepare dishes. So there was this Anglo-Gan woman who taught me how to make okra stew. And then I had an Ewe friend, Ricky Adelaita. He is an actor here in Accra. He came over and his wife showed me how to make okra stew as well, and banku. And so I am now perfect at banku. It took me a long time. It was like super soft. And I just did that, and I just learned the dishes, palm nut soup. At Play G, the Gans taught me how to make their version of apra pensa. So I had so many people around me that, and my interest was so high in learning how to prepare these dishes. So I figure one thing is that I didn't want my kids to be bored with eating, because the way we cook in the States, a typical meal is a protein, a starch, and a vegetable. And here it's not like that, you know. So my son was 4 when we came, so he was far more pickier. My daughter, I was still breastfeeding her, but she would eat whatever I ate, you know. But my son, he was just jollof. And my house is kind of split, so we have Ghanaians and Nigerians and different ethnic groups amongst us. So there was always something interesting to eat and to learn, and so I always kind of pride myself on culture and things like that. You know, I'd be out with some Ghanaian friends. I mean, no, we can't do that. We have to do it this way first. You know, and I'm always telling them, go from the right first, shake the hands. You know, but I've really enjoyed the learning experience, and I've ran a security company.
After your ultrasound, how long did you work in the ultrasound?
Ultrasound was a few years.
Okay.
And then I went on to.
Was it difficult getting a job?
I've never had difficulties.
Why is that?
For some strange reason, I remember when I worked at the security company, I was actually going there to recommend a job for some people who did marketing.
Okay.
And so I wanted to give a recommendation. The security company was very close to my house, and so I just walked over and said I wanted to see the managing director. It's really funny that how when you speak with a different accent, you ask for the managing director. It doesn't, you get to see them pretty quickly. And so I was just talking to the guy, and he was saying, oh, he's looking for a general manager, blah, blah, blah. And I said, oh, okay, I will look out for you,
Yeah.
And then I took that information over to some friends, and they were saying, so you don't want the job? And I was like,
At that time, you weren't doing anything.
I didn't think about it. Actually, I was just finishing a contract on a radio production.
What radio station was that?
It was multiple radio stations in the western region. So what we did was syndication. So we created a show, a program for some NGO. And then it's placed on various radio stations, and they were targeting a certain area in the western region. So that was about to end soon. So I wasn't even in that, better look for a job, kind of mindset. I'm one of these people that, I could take a couple months vacation, And so I really, and actually I did. I went to Nigeria, and I wanted to learn or just see how they're able to film a season so quickly. These guys, before you know it, in a couple of weeks, they've got maybe 13 episodes done already. Whereas here in Ghana, we'd have a couple of weeks, we'd have possibly 3, and so they could get like a whole season, 13 or 26 episodes down quick. So I wanted to go and just see their methods were, and how they were able to do it. Yes. And so I did that. I didn't spend a whole lot of time on that. I spoke with a few people. I sat on a few sets. And then I started cooking again.
In Nigeria?
Yeah, I had some in-laws who had friends who were good cooks, not caterers, but good cooks. But they would cook for people's parties, but they didn't consider themselves a caterer. So they would cook, and then you go and get all the stuff you're going to set up, and then they just bring it to you, and you do the serving. And so I've always had this love for Nigerian food. Now this battle between the jollof rice thing, I'm still torn. For me,
I actually do not involve myself.
And the reason why I say I'm torn, because if you eat a typical Ghanaian jollof rice, then you could possibly say Nigerian jollof rice is better. But if you eat a typical Hausa Ghanaian jollof rice, you're not going anywhere else for jollof rice. Oh yeah. And they've been born and raised here, because the trick is, some people make the jollof rice, they just put in too much tomato paste, right? Now a good jollof rice, you gotta take some sama, which is mackerel as we know it, smoked. You have to take that and add it into your sauce, because it has so much flavor and it does something to the jollof.
I didn't know that.
And you gotta have bakboshito. You gotta have those little tiny green peppers inside, or even the big flavorful ones, not the just hot ones, but it gives such a lovely aroma to the jollof. And you gotta have garlic, and you gotta have ginger. And then when you do all that, and you use your fresh tomatoes and cut up some, blend some, put it in there, fry it up, then put a little bit of tomato paste, fry it all up, cook it well, and then put your sauce. your rice inside and cook it slowly. Now, there's two types. There's the home cooked and there's the one on the pot.
Party jollof.
Yeah, I mean the one on the pot with the firewood. Oh, firewood jollof. Oh, come on, firewood jollof.
Different actually. When you see
different.
it, you know.
Yes.
When you smell
oh,
it, you know.
you'd be like,
actually.
okay, this one.
So what other hats have you worn?
Radio, with that besides radio production, TV. I was a television producer, stage producer. When I was doing the ultrasound at the clinic, I have actually done eye surgery on a couple of people. Not myself, but I assisted an ophthalmologist because I was doing the ultrasound, but I was trained as a medical assistant some years back, so I did have the skills to assist, and so I did. We did this operation on what they call a pterygium. You get some people who get a growth from the inner part of their eye all the way to the retina. And so you have to remove that with a scraping process. And so you have to kind of prop the eye open and then take a scalpel and sort of scrape everything off. That was one of the things I did during the ultrasound
You've done quite
days.
a number of things.
Yes, we had a patient that had 80% burn, and I helped to treat him and get him 100% back to good health.
So you've been shuffling between food, production, and medicine. Would you say that your stay has been rewarding so far?
Oh,
has
yes.
it shaped you into what you are now?
I think so. When I first came, I was here for 7 years before I ever went home, and I remember I went back with the kids, and my brother picked me up, had my hair all braided nicely like yours, and he was like, "Oh, you're looking young." And he hadn't seen me. I said, "Well, you haven't seen me?" He says, "Yeah, I was just expecting you to look all old." And I said, "Oh, why? What is the sun going to do to me that I should be looking old?"
I mean,
I don't know. You're far away, and we don't know what's going on. And so I was in the kitchen with my kids, and I guess they were doing something that I didn't like, and so I was disciplining them and just giving them a piece of my mind, right?
Piece of my mind.
and so my brother came in and said, "Who are you talking to? Who was that?" And I was like, "It's just me and the kids." Then he went out, and then he came back in, and he's like, "I heard it again. There's another person here." I was like, "No." And I think what happened was when I speak to him, I spoke with my more American accent. And when I'm speaking with the kids, especially when I'm giving them a little piece of my mind or telling them to do something, then all that goes away and the Ghanaian accent surfaces. And so he was thinking it was someone. Then he came in and said, "That was me. That was you." I said, "Yeah." And then he said, "Then you're a foreigner. You're a foreigner." I couldn't hear words you said. And I was like, "Oh, okay." So yes, I do get people saying that to me a lot when I'm there for some time. And I have my family members, they all saying yo and hey and all the little nuances and things. They're all picking it up now because I guess it comes so natural to me that and that's who I am. I remember in the beginning I used to go to the markets with some young ladies to take me to the markets, help me bargain and stuff like that. And I remember I'd say stuff and they would never understand, never pick it, or they'll go and get the wrong thing. And so I learned how to speak slower, so that they could pick what I was saying. And I think in doing that, I may have also spoke in a way that they would, in that accent, probably trying to say it so they can understand it, and then it just kind of just grew with me. But now, I have some American friends who are here, and they've been here for 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, stuff like that, and they are now picking accents, and they were trying so hard to just speak like themselves, and it just catches you. And I think it has to do with speaking to, if you're married, speaking to your relatives, speaking to little children. And I have a lot of children around me all the time, and so as much as I'm trying to pick other languages, they're also trying to pick English. And so so it's that back and forth, bouncing off of each other, and trying to help each other grow in whatever it is.
Do you speak Twi?
Minty Twi kakakaka. Not very much at all. In my house, they speak Twi, Ga, Yoruba, Hausa, and very, very, very little Ewe. And that's when some of our Ewe relatives come, and then they they try to, but those who are busy speaking Ga and Yoruba and Hausa all the time try to accommodate and do a little bit of that, but mostly Ga is spoken in my household.
Like I said at the beginning, your story is very interesting. You
Girl.
have something very interesting to
that's
tell
about
us.
a quarter of it.
Wow. Thank you so much.
You're
for
welcome.
coming on here to meet us, and I'm sure some people from the diaspora as well would watch this and learn a thing or two.
So now if we're teaching, I have a word or two to say to those people who are packing up, coming to Africa. I don't just say Ghana, but just packing up, coming to Africa. You have the ones who are married to Africans. And so sometimes they've come already. Sometimes the African wants to come home, and so they join their spouses. For you kind of have that support system already. But a lot of people just pack up and come, and they get here because, look, Ghana's quite expensive. You need to have a workable plan. Not just come and rent the most beautiful place that you see, which you're not so certain that is built well, for one thing. You need to come, I would always say, come and stay a few months first. If you can't stay a few months, come and stay more than 2 weeks.
That's what I say to my
stay more than 2 weeks.
If you want to move,
and
stay
then
there for
come and stay for about 3 months, and try to live and meet people, and try to live below your means to see if you can do that. Because yes, the water is going to go off. You might live in an apartment building. You might get an apartment building that has running water and has a generator. Me, I don't like apartment buildings. I like a house. And so you need to come, look around very well. If you're going to build, you need to make sure before you leave, you have all your papers in place. Don't leave people, and especially not these first timers that you just met, and now suddenly they're your son or your daughter or your niece or your nephew, and they're so kind and they're so loving and this and that and the other. And then they come to us, those of us who have lived here for some time, and they don't want to hear it. They got their little brother or little Ghanaian niece or nephew, and they're going to do it all for me. And I've just seen too many sad stories. It's not a paradise unless you make it a paradise. The paradise is not here for you. You got to make your own paradise, and you got to have to do that. Ain't no welfare system here. Ain't no social service system here. It's nothing for you to fall back on if you don't have a plan. And whether or not you want to reach out to any of the organizations that are here for some support, don't wait until half your money is gone or all your money is gone, or you've been ditched or taken advantage of, or you've been robbed or what have you. You better walk in that door. You better walk off that plane and get into Accra and start looking for these organizations that are here, namely the African American Association of Ghana. You don't have to be a member, but you should know where we are And don't let anybody tell you, oh, don't go to them. There's a lot of people in the organization who are very happy. We like one big happy family. There's a lot more we can do, and we are striving to become a very more productive and outreaching organization. But I'm telling you, if you say you want to come here and be alone, just know if you buy a house, it's gonna stay here. It ain't going to nobody somewhere else. It's gonna be here. Those whom you've been riding around with and you calling your little brother and little sister, they're gonna take over. So if you are not certain that your family is in support of you moving here, then you need to figure out how you're going to do it, because this place, as much as it can be a wonderful place, it can not be a wonderful place. So it's up to you and how you do things. And again, those people with the bad attitudes, don't venture. We don't need you here. We really don't. There's some people with some really nasty attitude running away from something. They come here. They give the embassy a really hard time. I know my rights. I know my rights. You ain't even been here long enough to even know what Ghanaian rights there is, let alone your rights, which do not apply. So your human rights apply. That's the only thing you got going for you is your human rights. But nobody here owes you anything. Don't know you from Jack on the wall or the cockroach crawling over there. Don't know you from that. So don't come here with that. Please come here with a warm, welcoming heart, and don't think that everybody comes and smile and because they're going to run here and do this for you, they ain't going to do nothing else. Because trust you first. Trust you first. And if you know you are a good person, truly, truly to your core, then you will attract good. If you know you half it, you're going to get half. If you know you really aren't, that's what you're going to get. So know that before you pack up and come running.
Wow.
That's all I got to say.
Some hard truths.
Hard truth. Because, it's
very hard
because we meet these people every day.
Yeah.
And you can't be happy because you don't have it in you already.
Wow. Thank you so much.
You're
Miss
welcome,
Vanessa.
sweetie.
I'm so
Look,
happy.
she's been trying to do this interview for a long time. And I hate interviews, but I don't know. I kind of felt like I had something to say. Look, I was just waiting till the end so I could say that.
Thank you. I hope you've learned something, of course. Now.
Keep watching.
Yeah.
Keep watching. Yeah. She works hard though. I met her maybe 2 months ago. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Ma.
You're welcome.
And I'll see you later in another video. Bye.